Hello, hello, and we are back with the Real Estate Tech Roundtable. I'm Tim, and we're here with Kirk Hawkins of the Kirk Hawkins Real Estate Group, Khalid, our CEO of NILE, and then our special guest today, Bethany Londyn, who is not only a real estate agent for the last 20 years, but also been working with CEOs and startups as the Energetic VC. And so, yeah, Kirk, Khalid, and I, Bethany, we're excited to have you. And yeah, just wanted to dive into this energetic VC and energy work that you've been doing with different CEOs and startups and people. So we're excited.
So fun.
So yeah, what is an energetic VC? Take us down this path, Bethany.
Well, one of my CEO clients gave me that name, and I love it because I have to say, when I was in high school, for some reason, I wanted to be a venture capitalist. I don't even think I knew what that meant in high school. And then later on, I realized that I probably more so want to be an angel investor. So when I realized, or when my client called me an energetic VC, I'm like, yes, I've arrived. I'm the energetic investor. So yeah, I work with CEOs and companies and the energetics. I work with the energy because everything is energy. Our cells, atoms, this glass of water, everything is energy. So by manipulating and shifting energy, moving it around and clearing it, then things tend to go smoother. It becomes more fluid. So yeah, like I could just go off. Do you want me to keep going?
And you don't necessarily do this in just a real estate space, but you do this for a wide range of corporate interests, basically, right?
NILE included.
Yes.
NILE included, working with NILE. Yes. NILE, there's another like Airbnb type company I work with. It's another startup. I have an attorney law firm that I work with. And then a couple like thought leaders, podcasters, and yeah, all sorts of people.
So wait, what is your process though? If someone, like if Khalid as the founder of NILE comes to you, what is involved in a consultation like this?
Yeah, well, first I want to know about the story. So I can tune into the energy right away without knowing or asking any questions, and I could see stuff, but I also like to include the client because I've done the work on my own before and the client's not really involved, and that does something, but I've realized that when they're involved, then they can start to see the effect as well. So usually I start with, where did they come up with the idea, or how did they get involved? When did this start? What was the birth of the date, of the company, and the passion behind it? And then we kind of dive into this alignment process, which anyone listening can do, of tapping into like what level of joy is still there. Like, because usually in the initiation of a company, there's like so much passion and energy, right? So at this point, wherever we are in it, what level of joy is still there? What level of love is still there? What level of ease? And I could just ask you on a scale of 0 to 10, anyone that can do this on their own and just intuitively get a number, like 10 being 100%. So I will kind of run my own a little analysis on that, and then look to shift the energy so that we can increase all of that to be at a level 10, because that's going to be aligned, and sales are made at a level of joy, employees are happy at a level of joy. I mean,
Clients are happy at a level of joy too.
Clients, it's a whole ripple effect. Yeah, a level of love is actually below a level of joy. I think joy is 540 on the scale of consciousness. 500 is love. And so if anyone at a level of 500 and the energy of love is affecting 750,000 people around them, joy is even greater.
Wait, back that up. So the lower level of say that again.
Love is actually below joy.
Okay.
I like joy. I mean, I
So
like
joy
love.
is what you seek out, basically.
Yeah.
And not so much love, but you like break through love.
I
You
do.
want love first, and then joy is higher, right?
Oh.
Joy is higher. So if you're at joy, the love is there.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I tune in, it's a level of like 200, 250, And so it's about lifting that vibration. This is something I do with all clients. I'll tune in like in the beginning. I'm like, okay, where are they at? Like,
And this is like
and
Richard
I-
Dawkins' work, right? Is that it?
oh yeah,
The,
Hawkins. Yeah,
Hawkins.
David R. Hawkins. Yeah,
David
yeah.
Hawkins.
Oh, a relative.
That's right. The Hawkins are all over.
Everywhere.
So good, so good. I mean, but
So,
I don't know if you've heard
is-
of the butterfly effect. Similar.
yeah.
Like
Is
kind
that
of,
why people are divorcing? Because there's love but no joy?
oh,
Mm, interesting. Interesting.
that's interesting.
That's a good one. I mean, I think that if you aren't aligned at some point, like I was in a relationship, got divorced. I mean, it was all about, I'll just send you love, but it's like love, but then in love is like different. That was my,
Ooh, that's so interesting.
I'm like, I love you and you and you and you, right? I can love everyone.
And it's
in
true,
love,
people-
that's a whole different story.
Yeah, people dish out the love factor a lot.
Yeah. Which is,
So
And I know
great.
this is all abstract, but I could definitely sense working with Bethany. Yeah, I feel like NILE has made a shift, and we are more aligned, and the work was always there's always a lot of passion behind NILE and the business, but it has become, that has increased in as well as joy and just having the day-to-day work.
And I didn't realize, so you're actually doing these one-on-one consultations with Khalid and Tim, or?
Yes.
Ooh,
Well,
Yeah.
call it sometimes.
nice.
The schedule can get tricky sometimes, but yes. But I always feel like the
My
space.
CEOs, I just work with once a month, so it like just depends on whatever. Go
And
ahead.
so this case study, oh, I don't mean to interrupt. Go for it,
Oh,
Khalid.
no. I was gonna say, like, I feel like the biggest, like the thing, like, especially since we started working with Bethany, whether it's conscious or unconscious, like, has been like the business has gone from like a place of like, we want it here, and it's like versus now it's like let the business organically sort of become like what it should be and what it wants to be, and like foster and like hold space for it to like go in the direction that it's meant to go and grow. And I feel like that's one of the big shifts that we've noticed in the last few months, which just kind of correlated around the time that we started working together.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's a really good point.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things is there's always a lot of paths to pursue in business and life and everything. And then talking with Bethany, finding where to put your energy specifically in what path, right? And so for example, we started doing these YouTube videos, and then talking to Bethany, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, we should be doing a podcast. Like that's where a lot of the energy should go. Thus came the Real Estate Technology podcast.
Yeah, I can tune into what's like most profitable as far as like the flow. Like, where's the flow flowing?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people wanted to go here, but like it's really flowing this way. So if we can clear energy so that it could go here, but why not just follow the flow if that's like leading to the abundant ocean,
Yeah.
And how do you do that, like with real estate clients? Like, I think because especially like, the markets have been so intensely like competitive, right? Like, especially as a buyer, and you're like, oh my God, you see this house, you fall in love with it, and you're like, this is mine, but it may not. Like, how do you navigate like the manifestation of helping a client reach their right house, maybe not the house that they see, but the house that really is aligned with what they should ultimately what they'll ultimately find their way to.
Yeah, I would say with every client, it's literally the first home and it's just magic and amazing. And then others, it's like they need to go through the process almost. And that's like their own journey of the highs and the lows of putting in offers and rejection. And like, that sounds crazy, but also it's like, it's building this clarity through that process of what is going to be the best home. And even like this one guy, oh my gosh, we had written so many offers. He was approved for one number, and then all of a sudden, as everyone knows, the rates like they've gone up. So similar situation, but this was like last year. And what he ended up with is so perfect, even though he was approved for like $200,000 more, last time, or when we first started. And then as far as like the energy work with it, because I do bring it into using it with my clients. Oh my gosh. So I just will never forget this two big situations. One, we go to see this home, and then the person ends up bringing their mother. As soon as their mother walks in, I just feel like this rush of like negative, dark, heavy energy. I'm like, oh man, brace yourselves. Like, cause I feel that, right? I'm very sensitive to it. And then her mom just starts like barking, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And in my mind, I'm like, her mom is a dream crusher. That's what I saw. And then she basically verbatim says it after the mom left. She's like, my mom's basically a dream crusher, but I've lived with that my whole life. I'm like, okay. So they didn't know that I do energy stuff. Definitely not the mom. So I, on the way home from that place, start clearing the energy around her and her mother. And like, yes, I did this without permission. However, anything I do can only be accepted by the human body, the 3D version, because I'm working in the 5D, and I'm sure there's going to be a question for that next. And they only will receive the healings if they are open to it. So if they are open to it, then they receive it. So sure enough, 2 hours later or something, my client calls me. She's like, oh my gosh, my mom just called and said she's going to give me even more money for a down payment. I'm like, what? She's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, I was doing some healing on the way home. I'm so grateful it made a difference. So just complete like 180. And then for another client that was buying a condo, it had been this whole process. I was double ending it, which normally, is frowned upon in the business for liabilities. And the HOAs for a condo had reserves that we got a message that they were like $18,000, which is like nothing. You want a lot of money in your reserves. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, after all this work, we've gotten this far, like we'd already gone through inspections and all the things. And then it's like the HOAs come back with like really, really low reserves. And, I just was like, hey, like if this is meant to be, I'm asking for a miracle, because I don't want to like force something. I want it to be in the benefit of both sides. So if this is meant to be, like, I'm asking for a miracle. Next day we get a email saying that they were a number off, and it was like 181,000 or something.
Oh my God.
They forgot a zero.
That's an important zero.
And as wild as that sounds, this happens all the time. There's random human errors that screw things up.
And she confirmed it. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yes.
Oh my gosh. What is the 5D versus the 3D?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 3D is like you and me talking, us living. The 5D is, then there's a 4D, but the 5D is really like, I would say like the spiritual realm. Like I can tap into, let's say, heaven on earth, and I can see like the angels, the spirits communicate. And when I'm tuning into like your energetic being, that is not in the 3D, that is in the 5D. So it's very much, I mean, if a past life situation comes up that I'm clearing, then it looks like human, but it very much looks like if you were to put yourself into an angelic form, let's say, very much like a light being.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see, and then because I'm looking at the light, I can see specks, I can see darkness, I can see where the heaviness is, or I don't know if any of you guys, I don't remember.
You do this like kind of a meditation, or are you at the level where you can just like close your eyes and make it and get there?
Yeah, I can pretty much tune in because I continuously am connecting to the light or source or God or the universe all day long. But I don't walk around seeing things. Like I have to be like, okay, what is this? And then I like, it's kind of like a blink and like turn on a different lens.
Wow. Is there anything, obviously without giving away your secret sauce, but is
No,
there
I just
anything-
decided I'm making a course about metaphors, because so many of the things that come through are metaphors. They're like images. And we're gonna
Yeah.
be making
No,
that.
totally.
Yeah.
But like for a buyer or seller or someone on a high level looking at the real estate market or someone who's an entrepreneur, is there any technique that, I mean, not to give away your business and your strategy and all of that, but is there anything that we can do like on a daily basis to kind of work toward this? I mean, short of course, scheduling a consultation with you, but kind of like getting in that initial step.
And I'm not afraid of secrets getting out, because I believe there are more than enough opportunities for everybody. So I just want to say that, because there's infinite
Abundance.
possibilities and
Yeah.
abundance. Yes, there's infinite possibilities. So I would intuitively kind of like how I was talking about the scale of 0 to 10. I mean, anyone can write down a whole bunch of scenarios. Like a big thing I noticed with CEOs is decision-making fatigue.
Mhm.
So if you have a decision to make, maybe ground yourself by getting outside, neutralizing a little bit, taking a little bit of the energy off of that. I love connecting to trees. That's my personal thing. I lean against trees, not hugging them, but I lean. And I immediately feel grounded. But you could write a whole bunch of different scenarios down around the question and know that it is important to do more than one question, because as a healer, like I've cleared myself and I clear and clear and clear. So the more clear I become, the more connected to truth I am, and the instant, like the vision, the perspectives, the clarity comes. If someone is not constantly clearing or working on themselves, they are operating through, murky lenses. So it is important to ask multiple questions. And then you can say on a, does this feel like a yes? Does it feel like a no on a scale of 0 to 10? Level of ease, prosperity or profitability, fun. I think it's important to have fun while working. So you could go through all of these and rate it and just see what comes first. And just know if you overthink of it and you're like, oh, maybe a 3 or a 4, like just go with the first thing that happens in the first second.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And then you can kind of work.
So you're
and
kind
then
of
you
doing an
can add more
inventory.
layers.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
kind of doing
It
an
is like a
inventory.
self-inventory.
Yeah. No, cool. Well,
Yeah.
it's been great to talk and learn more. I'm sure we could talk forever.
For ages.
What's what's your website if anyone wants more information?
Well, I want to ask one more question really quick.
Oh, yes,
Because
please.
you guys have all experienced working with me. So I'm curious, how did it feel? Because I think that's also really important to address, like the feeling afterwards.
It feels
We've done, I
Yeah.
mean, like we've done like work like some one-on-one stuff, and it's like it's always feel like very like liberating, right? Like very, like, just very, very, you just feel like a weight is lifted, from you. Like you're just like, you just come out feeling just lighter and more energetically just better, I guess. That's
what
one
I
of
was
the
gonna
things.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say too, is you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Like you feel like the manifestation of that clearing for sure.
Yeah, the light.
Yeah. And I think, what I was touching on is, for me, there's always a lot of opportunities. There's always a lot of different things that can be done. And so after talking to you, you've eliminated some, you've redirected energy. So, and maybe that's like the lightness, right? There's not so many decisions to be made. So you can just focus on, okay, let's go down this path. And that's what I like, right? It's just like clarity of, sifting and sorting all the different things you can do and just focusing on the few that should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good at saying like, oh, that feels aligned, or that feels off, or like, so it's like, it's like, okay, you can, sometimes going back to that decision fatigue, right? It's just like, maybe you have two things that are like equally look identical in value, but you're like, where do I can only choose one. And it's like, yeah, you don't have like that if I'm immortal, you're clearly not, like, so it's like, I'm like, I don't have the visibility into that. So it's like you kind of seek out, that. And it's interesting because it's not you know, a lot of people, maybe that, you know, people, anybody that listens to this might think it's like woo woo, but I'll tell you, I know multiple people that have sold, you know, one person that sold well over, you know, a company that's in the hundreds of millions. I know another company that owns a company that's in the hundreds of millions. And like, they have worked with psychics, they have worked with energy healers, they have like, yeah, no, for sure. There's,
They do yoga, they do meditation.
yeah, I know a
Absolutely.
guy that's got a shaman on staff. Like he's, you know, it's like these, it's not, it's, you know, these are not like, you know, these are ultra successful people. So it's like, you know, I mean, some of the, you know, you know, you look at this and it's not just one person, not just two people. It's like, there's many, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, we are concentrated in LA, but I think more people need it.
Right. Right.
There's a
Outside
lot of
LA.
successful people in LA.
And it does
There
sound
are.
like really woo woo, but I eat this stuff up and I think it's, I do. And I can see the value of why so many of these like successful professionals have embraced it.
Well, say it's even a placebo effect, which I don't think it's a placebo effect. Like even if it was, isn't it on bound? Like if it's improved, like if it's made things better, like isn't there still value in it? Like regardless, you know, so it's like great.
If it moves the needle just slightly in the right direction, then it's not a waste of time at all. So
fine-tuning.
Fine tune the decision making.
And even if you, like I feel like if you're, you know, the value that, you know, you can't get the like what you are able to do, like it's literally like you can't buy that. There's no way to buy it. Like there's not a pill you can buy, there's not a massage you can get, you know. It's like, whoa, like that's a really like great feeling. And it's like, so it's like amazing. You can't, it's not available at Ralph's. So
right, it's true.
It's all out there in the ethers.
But maybe Erewhon.
Yeah, maybe Erewhon. They'll bottle it up.
Maybe
they could do a partnership with Bethany. They could just bottle up Bethany.
Bottle up
the Energy VC. Boy, that
they do asparagus water, so I feel like
it
Vitamin BL.
Vitamin VC.
A vitamin, I like that. Yeah.
Vitamin VC. So good.
So good. Thank you so much, Bethany.
Meeting of the minds. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Yes, thank you. It's BethanyLondyn.com. LONDYN. Why is the cool factor?
Ooh, Y means yes.
What?
Y means
yes.
That's amazing.
That. And then on Instagram, where are you?
At Bethany Londyn, same.
Perfect. All right.
Bethany Londyn everywhere. It's me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for joining another episode of the Real Estate Tech Podcast. Have a good night.
Thank you.